What will happen September 13th? We're closing in less than a month away from Terence Crawford and Canelo, the mega fight that everybody in boxing, everybody in combat sports is talking about. Canelo versus Crawford. Everyone's saying that Canelo's too big. Me personally, I've been saying that I think Crawford is going to outskill Canelo Alvarez and that Canelo probably won't land that money punch. But hey, I know this is boxing. I know that there are weight classes for a reason. That's why it's such an exciting fight. It's a compelling fight to the fans, not because the boxing fans asked for it, because the pure boxing fans never asked for Crawford versus Canelo, but we're all going to watch it because we know it's a big money fight. We know it's a spectacle. It's a science experiment that, we get to observe and see whether or not a guy who's really talented, Terence Crawford, from 154 can move up 2 weight classes to fight a guy like Canelo Alvarez. And everyone's saying that Bud is technically, a 147 pounder, but I think, moving up to 154, feeling like he can't really make 147 that easily anymore. He's a 54 pounder right now, and moving up 60 and then 68, no one really has the capability to do that and be successful besides, very talented fighters. And I think Terence Crawford just might be one of those guys. So it's going to be a very exciting fight September 13th. It's really hard because, obviously you guys know I'm picking Crawford, but of course, there's possibility, and a great chance that Canelo lands a shot or, throw something crazy because, like I said, this is boxing. Canelo's a great fighter and he's strong, he's bigger, and I think he's going to be motivated for this one. That's what makes it exciting. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. Everybody's saying Canelo's going to stop Crawford, but can he land that money shot? The footwork and the gas tank from Canelo hasn't been amazing, but he does have power. So, if he's able to close the distance and trap Crawford at one moment, because Crawford's not an easy target to hit. I don't think in this particular fight that Crawford's just going to sit in the pocket, but he's also not going to run. So I don't want people to get it twisted and say that, oh, Bud's going to run from Canelo. He's not going to run, but he's also not going to be stupid. He's going to be intelligent about it because he knows that, he could get hurt by a natural 68 pounder. We've already seen Terence Crawford in, the kind of condition that he's in, preparing to get hit, because we know that Canelo Alvarez is coming with everything. He's the type of fighter that, he's going to hit you wherever he can. Even if it's not a clean punch to the chin, he's going to hit you all over the arms, hit you to the body. You're going to feel that natural 168-pound punch from Canelo Alvarez because he is probably the best at, doing that. He doesn't care what part of the body he's hitting as long as he's landing shots on you, So I think Crawford obviously has to be very careful and intelligent in there, and I think he will be. But of course, I think it's a close fight, and I think Bud, edges it by decision because I think he's going to be too talented. I think that Canelo's never dealt with a guy like Bud the same way that Bud's never dealt with a guy like Canelo. But the thing is, I've always said the smaller guys, and Tank told me this too. Tank was talking about Crawford and Canelo, and he said, well, smaller guys typically, have an easier time with bigger guys actually. Like, it's an illusion that, oh, the bigger guy is always going to win. Sometimes that faster and more skillful and talented smaller guy can beat a bigger guy. In boxing, of course, it's the logical pick to pick the heavier guy and the guy that's been fighting at that weight class. I get it. That's why I'm saying it's a close fight. That's why I'm saying it's a compelling fight. But I also think that Crawford's skill makes up for, that weight to an extent, and we're going to find out September 13th. That's when it all goes down in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm excited. I'm getting really excited now because I feel like I wasn't that excited because I was like, oh, it's happening. No, it's not happening. Early on in the fight promotion, we were hearing, oh, it's not going to happen. They're going to move the date. They're going to move the location of the fight. So to see it kind of closing in on around, 3-ish weeks away, that's good news. That's good news because this is going to be a big event and I'm really looking forward to it. The undercard got announced, so I'm looking forward to this event. But I don't know. I think I still got Crawford. I definitely still got Crawford in this one just because I think Canelo, people are saying he's going to be more motivated, and I hope he is, because if he's more motivated, that's going to, make for an even better fight. But the thing is, Canelo's going to have to channel a version of himself that he hasn't channeled in a while, because we saw the Skull performance, we saw the Berlanga performance, we saw the Munguia fight, and it's just like something's off about Canelo that I'm not used to seeing. Like, he doesn't want to press the action a little bit, but I think, for Bud, he's going to be motivated, but is he going to be able to shift just like that into a beast? I hope he is, because that would you know, like I said, make for a way more entertaining fight. But I just think Bud is always firing on all cylinders, and he's always so intense, 100%. And I'm not sure if Canelo's going to be able to match that energy. This might be another situation where, you know, even though Canelo is the bigger fighter, he was bigger than Floyd technically, you know, when they fought years back. Obviously Canelo's much more experienced now, but I would say, you know, Canelo's out of his prime. And I'm not saying Terrence is in his prime, but, you know, I know that Terrence is older than Canelo, but I still think that if you put them pound for pound, Terrence Crawford is in better shape and better condition, and will show that on September 13th. And that's why I believe he's going to beat Canelo. It's not because I hate Canelo, because I think that Canelo is, you know, an overrated fighter. I think he's a good, you know, and great fighter. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But I think that this particular matchup, when it does go down September 13th, at this point in both fighters' careers, that Crawford's going to win a decision. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.